Welcome, students, as we prepare for another episode of DC Graduates. I am one of your hosts, your doctor recommended dose of nerdiness, aka your nerd today, Carlos Rodriguez. And as always, I am joined by my teacher in crime, Sly. Sly, how are you?
I'm great now that we're doing crimes. Love that for us.
Yep, 100%.
You'll love to see it.
100%. 100%. And our crime today is we're going to be talking. Well, that sounds bad. Like we're like queuing up like a bad movie. It's that, not to give the episode away. It's not a bad movie. But Superman,
Right.
Batman,
Yeah.
Apocalypse. Oh, I'm sorry. So we learned this last week. Superman
Man,
slash Batman Apocalypse. And that means Superman is banging Batman, right? If I remember my AO3.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. I love that for you. You're learning so many things.
Look at all the AO3 stuff I'm learning. I'm going to use this at work. And we have a little note cameo from my coworker in here on my notes on my end.
I saw that. That did crack me up. We'll
Yeah,
get
'cause we were
to it when we
talking,
get
and I looked over. She's like, "Carlos, what the fuck?" I'm like, "I'm not wrong."
You're not wrong.
Like, you look at her. She's 6'2". All right.
All right.
How tall is
Before we get
Lucas?
into that,
How tall is Fee? I'm starting to understand. I get it.
Carlos.
Yes.
I have a confession.
Yes. What is your confession?
If you had asked me last week, if you had asked me yesterday, have you seen the 2010 film Superman / Batman: Apocalypse? I would have said, yeah, of course I've seen that film. Of course. I recognize the name, I recognize the art, like, of course I've watched it at some point. I sat down to watch this movie, I got maybe 4 minutes in, and I'm like, have I never seen this
Ever
movie
seen this
before?
movie? Like, what is this film?
How on earth did I miss this? So I sat down preparing to rewatch something I had already seen and like be familiar with it. And I was not prepared to watch an entirely new movie to me. So I did at a couple points kind of tune out a little bit, and not because it was bad by any means. I want the record to be clear. This is a great film.
It is.
I just was not prepared to take in that much new information today.
Yeah,
Like
you
an
expect
hour
to
and
be
a half
like,
ago.
I have to be on point, like, for this.
Yeah.
Not like I could dilly dally a little bit.
I thought I could, like, just like loosely pay attention to it. It would be familiar. It'd be coming back to me, and that was perfectly fine because I was rewatching this movie. And that was not the case. So I will say I am very much not an expert in this movie.
Yeah. So neither am I. I noticed that this morning when I started watching it. I was like, I remember a lot of this, but I think only because I read the comic book that this is based off, which again, similar to last week's episode, Superman, Batman, Public Enemies. This is actually from 2003 to 2011's run of Superman / Batman by Jeff Loeb. The art this time is why one of my favorite artists of all time, Michael Turner, who unfortunately passed away a few years back. Rest in peace. But you really feel his art in this one, which we'll touch upon in a little bit. But this is specifically capturing issues 8 to 13 of that series. Again, they come out like, I would say 2003, 2004. These issues came out, but you can buy, like, again, this graphic novel of this section of that series. Luckily, this movie is basically beat for beat for that. So it was some in the lizard part of my brain. It was there. And so we got to the end. I was like, I don't remember this. And then, fun fact, the endings are completely different. The fights go completely different with these endings. But that was my saving grace with this episode. That is, I remembered, so I was able to do my real work and this work at the same time, which was nice. It was a nice little distraction from looking at Excel all day. But yeah, this movie, the 2010 Superman Batman Apocalypse, was directed by Lauren Montgomery, who we've seen before, correct? Yeah, I think she's like our fourth movie she's done. We covered
like that. Yeah, she's becoming a regular.
This is written by Tab Murphy. Studio as always, WB Animation, and it stars the incredible Andre Braugher, again, rest in peace, who recently passed away this past year. Great actor, amazing actor. He's Darkseid. Kevin Conroy comes back as Batman. Tim Daly comes back as Superman. Susan Eisenberg comes back as Wonder Woman. You got the Trinity in this one. We have who I love so much from so many like sci-fi shows. Summer Glau, by River Tam from Firefly. Julian Grossman, Tara Strong, and as the vocal cameo as always, Andrea Romano. This is streaming on Tubi, which is nice change of pace. Hopefully,
Put it in a
when
row.
this
Very excited.
appears, this episode shows it's still on Tubi. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Sly?
That was the thing that happened
Yeah.
so often when we were recording MC University, a little behind the scenes.
Oh,
We had a spreadsheet, and on that one, Mario had gone through and put where everything was streaming. And by the time we got it, like a couple months in, they were all like completely incorrect.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not fun.
Gotta love capitalism, baby.
Yeah, those contracts suck. That's also, on a rare, of course we have to do this always, and we talked about this on 61 Indies Discord. Fuck Max, fuck David Zaslav, but a special
Correct.
fuck because you brought up MC University. Fuck Disney Plus. That's a personal thing. I will tell you after the show. But yeah,
Okay.
fuck 'em.
Good to know. I will also say I was trying to hide my mug for the beginning of this episode because I realized halfway through our intro that I am using
Avocados at law. That's amazing.
For the audio listeners, I have a Nelson and Murdoch Avocados at Law mug that I'm rocking. It has a little avocado with the like daredevil horns on it. It's
So
iconic.
good.
I love that for me.
It's so good. Oh God, I can't wait for that show to come
But
back. But unfortunately, we're not talking about
before we
the
get
MC
there-
University. Yeah, we are talking about DC. And Sly, I want you to hit me with this plot recap for Superman Batman Apocalypse.
we got another generic one. Apologies,
Gotcha.
folks, but it's fine. Batman discovers a mysterious teenage girl with superhuman powers and a connection to Superman. Dun dun dun. When the girl comes to the attention of Darkseid and the evil overlord of Apocalypse, events take a decidedly dangerous turn. There was a lot of words in that last sentence.
Like a lot of words, like they try to trip you up. Those words.
They did.
There's a lot of minefields in that one. What about those comic book characters?
All right.
What we got?
Yeah, we got the Trinity, like you mentioned. We got Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman all together again, returning. We love to see it. We've got Supergirl, spoiler alert. Artemis, we've got Harbinger, Darkseid, Big Barda, and Gritty Goodness. Anybody else? I feel like I'm missing some of the Amazonians in there. But
No, you got Artemis. That's all that matters.
we love
knew-
Artemis.
I knew you were gonna single out Artemis, of course. And she does get a decent
was.
cameo in this, so
She does, and every time I think of her, I think of that one. Oh gosh, the comic on Webtoon that's the Outlaws.
oh yes, with like
comic.
Bizarro and him.
Yeah. With Bizarro and Artemis, and there's a scene with Artemis in like a boxing gym or whatever, and she looks particularly good. And every time I think of Artemis, I think of like that art.
Like this one specifically here. So moving on with this episode, we're going to touch upon one of our segments, Andrea Romano, pardon me, Roundup. Jesus, I need something stronger apparently. As always, we shout out the Queen, Andrea Romano, famous casting director and just all around amazing person. So our topics today, let's start with the top one because it's very blank but very vague. Let's talk about Kara Danvers. Kara Zor-El.
Okay, you answered my first question, which was why is everybody in this movie calling her Kara?
Not Kara, yeah.
I thought it was Kara Zor-El.
Yeah, because
am I wrong?
No, I think we weren't used to saying Kara or Kara at this point. Like
Huh?
Kara gives a more emphasis to, her alien nature, right? Like Cal, Clark, like that. You kind of get that alien nature of it. I think it was weird to hear like Clark being like Kara, like, bitch, you were just talking Kryptonese. Like, what do you mean? You know how to pronounce her name.
Can we talk about the Kryptonese?
Yes, yes,
Because I heard that and I went, that sounds familiar. I
and
wonder why.
yeah, it in fact is a Easter, was it European dialect, right? That's used.
It is a conlang called Esperanto. If
Mm-hmm.
you are not a language nerd in like the 2010s, this is like designed to be like the next English. Like it was designed to be a universal language. Um, and it really popped off around 2010, which makes sense why it was included in this
Yeah, yeah,
movie. And yeah, instead of making like a Kryptonian language, I'm pretty sure they were mostly just speaking Esperanto there.
yeah. I think they worried because at the time, obviously when you have a comic book, right, you have a alphabet for Kryptonese, which is the symbols. If you've seen Smallville, you kind of know what we're talking about. And you see them on the side of Kara's ship. Um, that is easy to translate, obviously, in print, right? You just write those letters, like you have a code. If you're a nerd like me, you know what those words mean, and you're like, I can read this language. This is awesome. But when you're adapting that to be a spoken language, and I think I'm
A little
assuming,
bit harder.
yeah, and also little time to be like, all right, we should probably take some love and care to it. Let's just adapt whatever's around at this time. So they, use Esperanto for that. But I think this is maybe, I think, the only time they do that, and they have created since a Kryptonese language. Oh,
Mhm.
funny enough, it sounds like a more formal, like like minion language, which is kind of fucked up.
Iconic.
Yeah. But now, yeah, it has like, it almost sounds vaguely Swedish here, and I think that was kind of the basis when they do create their own in other media, because I think Young Justice has a lot of Kryptonese, and then as well, My Adventures with Superman, which I love so much. If you know what you can find out what they're saying if you happen to know what they are. Like, there is translations to what Jor-El is telling Clark. But yeah, that was fun to hear. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Like,
Mhm.
you guys try to adapt the language, like, for real, for real. It's just nice. It's nice. It might as well, man, because like
It was a nice touch. Yeah.
when you read
I
Lord of the Rings, there's like Elvish, like,
mhm.
go
Like
for it.
one of my favorite things about having a character like Clark in this, it's like this like alien out of like time, out of space, like in this completely new culture that you grew up in, and seeing stories where he is connected with like his past and his roots and like can speak the language and has like the history of his peoples, it's always, it adds so much to that character and adds a
Mhm.
richness and depth that is like, no, like he is Kryptonian. He may have been raised on Earth and like Montauk are his parents, but like he also has this outside connection. And that was one of the things immediately, like he meets her and they're talking and they like can converse, and ignoring the fact that she learned an entire language in a week. They have this like instant connection with each other, which is really awesome, and I feel like it gives Clark a little bit more to like show off in this
Yeah,
movie.
and he's giddy, right? Like, the second it happens, like,
Yeah,
he's cautious, and then he's like, "Oh my god,
thrilled.
family!" Like, and
Yeah,
he has Bon Pa. Don't get
literal
me wrong.
family.
Yeah, it's just literal family, like something you crave or want for, and that's serious. Carlos kicking in now. That's something that's always connected with me because I grew up without my father and my whole father's side. Didn't know them. I was given a
Mhm.
fake name. There's a fake name on my birth certificate, all this stuff, and I knew at least I was half Puerto Rican. I didn't know what the other half was going to be. Turns out I'm all full Puerto Rican. But I had not a vaguely similar situation, but when reading this and seeing Clark, yearn for family, yearned for
Mhm.
connection, and I was at an impasse in my life at the time because, this is for the therapist, but I had a mom who like lied to me constantly about everything. So, it was very difficult to ask questions and be like, who's this person? What do they look like? Do I look like them? Do I sound like them?
Mhm.
Do I have the same hair as them? Like, what do I have that they have? And you're searching and yearning, and I've stayed up nights, like, just so sad. And reading this series and seeing Clark go through that in so many stories, but this specific story hits on that
Yeah.
specifically, and then he finds that happiness and finds
Mhm.
that family that he's been searching so desperately for. And like, again, he has Lois, he has Ma, he has Pa Kent, he has Bruce, he has Diana, but like, he wants this, right? He wants and craves, like, he doesn't want to be alone. And that was
Mhm.
a big, big thing for me, being a Superman fan, being like almost like a fish out of water, like
Mhm.
never really feeling like I fit
Doesn't want to
anywhere.
be the
Yeah.
last of his people, which is how he grew up. It's like you are the last remnant of this entire planet.
Yeah, that's it. Like, nothing else. And mind you, even too, like, at this point in the comics, right, he has Connor, who's a clone,
Mhm.
but like, he's a clone. He's,
Yeah.
not something from that time. Like, he's something created now, and he loves him and he cares for him. He's like a brother and or son, depending on the story. But like,
Mhm.
he is close to Connor, but he wants this family thing he's been searching his whole life for. And a few years ago, my sister found me on Facebook.
Mhm.
I got a
Mhm.
uh, I got a I got a message on Facebook Messenger while I was getting coffee, and I was talking to the barista at our work, and I had an instant panic attack, and I text my wife. I gave her all the info because I was like, I can't even talk to this person. I'm freaking out. Told my work wife, Cassie, shout out to her, and she calmed me down. And then, yeah, now it's been 7 years. I have two brothers, a sister, so many more aunts and cousins and nephews. I have nephews now and nieces, which is awesome. And it's just like my whole world expanded. And a lot of people around me, like, again, I have really good friends and family, like Lisa and my wife Tara. I have my friends Joey and his wife Persis and stuff like that. And I have so many close people around me, Susan and Brianna and stuff like that. But they even noticed that once I found this missing thing that was a part of me that I always searched for, like, everything changed. Like, I instantly became
Yeah.
like happier, and like, I text my sister all the time. We did this whole big family vacation thing a few years ago. Like, yeah, 2 years ago, we went down to Mexico. Me, my sister, her husband, my wife, the kids, and like a bunch of her friends. And it feels like I never
Special.
left. Like, I was always there,
Mhm.
and she was always there. So it was really nice. And you see that in Clark. Like, the second
Yeah.
that they speak to each other, he's
Instant.
like nothing. Like, we've done this a million times. We're joking around.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
beautiful.
Yeah. And you see that, like, I mean, there's something to be said about the, like, kind of misogynistic view he has, this whole need to protect her, and like
Yes.
she can't protect herself, like, thread throughout this entire movie, which at the same time you look at that and you're like, that's somebody who found the only other surviving member of an entire species, of an entire planet. Of course you're going to want to protect them. And like, does it come off as a little condescending and like controlling? Yes. But
Yep.
also, like, you understand where he's coming from, this like internal need to keep everything safe and protected, because this is the last this is the only other person who remembers the world he was born on.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, he doesn't even really remember. He's seen footage,
right, yeah.
but he wasn't old enough to see it. Like, she's old enough to know and live and breathe on Krypton. Like, he was just a baby at that time, which is insane to think about. And then I do like the retcon that we get later on, post New 52, where, it's a flip on like this whole I need to protect you. Like, Clark is very protective of her, obviously, because you bring up a good point. Like, he's so alone, now he has somebody he wants to protect at all cost. And there's only, I think, two times in this movie where it comes, like, he specifically is like, it's like male protection, right? Like, this dude's ogling her. He just looks at him and is like, yo, what the fuck? And then when she gets like the very revealing outfit while they're trying stuff on. He's like,
Mhm.
absolutely not. She's like, okay, perfect. That
Right.
means I'm getting it.
She looked great in that outfit. She deserves to
Yeah,
buy that outfit.
exactly. And I do love like that little playful thing, but I do love when they add in the New 52 that she was sent to be his protector, and she misses
To
it.
raise him so
Yeah,
that he, gets to know about his history and his culture. And, she gets trapped and doesn't make it until he's an adult. And like,
yeah,
God, the
full ass
grief of
adult,
like
full yeah,
losing your entire purpose in life. Anyways,
yeah.
I
I
love
do like
Kara.
that.
She's the best.
Kara is fucking awesome, and I do like that they touch upon this that she is technically stronger.
I was just about to bring
Yeah,
that up. And then Batman was like, she could kick your ass, as she should.
it's like I don't know if it's because
Yeah,
she's younger. I don't
absolutely.
know if it's this, but yeah, she's
Uh-huh.
more dead skin than you and all this other stuff. It was like, no, she's just stronger, dude. Like she is
She's
stronger.
just stronger. Yeah,
God, I
as
love
she should
Kara.
be. She's the best.
I do love Kara. And then the good things about like this reintroduction because this at this time we had almost 10 years, I think, since the weird Supergirl we had in the '90s, which I'll talk about. There's a quiz time thing for that, but
Oh boy.
we have like 10 years. This is like post Crisis for real. This time, Supergirl coming back into the fold. Um, out of the events that we saw in Superman, Batman, they kind of touch upon it, but like when Batman blows up that meteor, that's her coming to Earth. That was she was stuck in that meteor. Um, and to see her really come back to her own, it was a big celebration. I remember reading Wizard magazine, being on the forums, for comic book websites. It was a huge thing that she was really coming back fully, not some weird version of her, just like legit Kara Zor-El. Like this is it. Like Supergirl is really coming back this time. No, and no offense to Power Girl, I love Power Girl. She's Earth too. Like this is like this Earth's like
Yeah.
Supergirl is really making an appearance this time. And then the suit which she eventually wears in this movie, that kind of, I don't think it leaked, but I think they had a big reveal on it for like DC Comics website and things like that. And again, Wizard magazine had big things about it, talk about the redesign, and it.
Of all the characters,
Mhm.
of all of the women superheroes that we see in revealing outfits, she's like one of the very few I don't have a problem with because literally you see all the time, like both her and Clark will be perfectly fine and their outfits are just like shredded. So she does not need the like stomach protection. So she gets a minor pass.
That is
However,
very
I
true.
did love the CW costume. I thought they did a really good job with
I
that.
did. That's like, yeah. It was nice to see with this reintroduction and then New 52 kind of expanding on that, and then finally getting like an amalgamation when it came to CW, like CBS/CW show in the Arrowverse, and having her like kind of have like a classic outfit, with the longer skirt and this and that, and then finally when you get to the season finale, she's got full pants on. She's got this power suits like nanos and stuff. I was like, it looks so cool. And it's just nice because this is such a fun character to touch upon. You can do so many good stories with her. Obviously, we're getting a live action movie. Unfortunately, not with the was it Sasha Cali who played her in Flash? I didn't see the movie. That's a,
Oh,
I love the House of L. I
I
don't
thought
like
you
Ezra
meant
Miller.
in the I thought you meant in the TV show, and I was
No,
like, "What do you
no,
mean?"
no, no. I was talking about the Flash. Yeah, Sasha Cali who played
Oh yeah, yeah,
Supergirl
yeah,
in
yeah.
the Flash.
Mhm,
2023's the Flash. Oh,
mhm. I've
nope.
never seen it. I
Same.
refuse to, and
Yeah,
I'm sticking with that.
exactly. It seems like she was a big standout in that movie, though, unfortunately. And, now we have a reboot. We have Millie Alcox from House of Dragon coming in as Kara. They're adapting like a really big, awesome storyline and, Supergirl tomorrow, where she's like an alcoholic at this point. Like she's drinking, heavy drink. She's got a sword. She like, yeah, she's out falling on hard times. It's fun. It's a fun comic book series to read, but Kara has been so many different things throughout her history, and it's just nice to get adaptations of her and like let's stick it. I think it felt for DC like we really dropped the ball in not having Supergirl, like a proper Supergirl in our universe for so long. So I was glad at that time in 2003 that they brought her back. And now, in this movie, actually having a movie that's about Supergirl. Because animation wise, we haven't had her since Justice League, right? I mean, she's a couple episodes of
That's
Justice
all
League,
right.
but
Yeah.
that's it.
Like,
Yeah, it was
what,
rough.
like almost 7, 8 years?
Yeah, about that. Yeah. Yeah, it was rough being a Supergirl fan. If it wasn't Superman, and again, I love Clark with all my heart and soul.
Mhm.
Being a House of L fan is very, very difficult. You don't get much stuff.
Right.
Thank God for like Young Justice. Thank God for again the CW for giving us some more House of L representation. Smallville did a lot of stuff too at this time as well. I think this premiered
Mhm.
and there was an episode. I did read the trivia. There's an episode of Smallville that is basically this plot but flip, where
Uh-huh.
Clark is under the control of Darkseid, and Kara has to save Clark.
Good for
Um,
her.
as she
Love
should,
Smallville.
honestly. My favorite thing to touch upon, like at least Supergirl wise, before we move on,
Mhm.
is in the CW show when Tyler Hoechlin, our beloved from Teen Wolf, comes in and as Superman, amazing episodes with him on it. But there's this whole thing where Kara has to fight him, and she proves she's stronger than him. And I remember so many people on the internet they will say they're quote unquote real Superman fans. They're not. And you can go fuck yourself. They were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
he would never lose to a girl. He would never lose to Supergirl. He did." I'm like, "Fuck you. You
She's
don't read the books.
canonically stronger than him.
Like, what are you talking about, man?"
Dumbasses.
At
Yeah.
best, the reason he's gonna win is because maybe she's holding back, or B, he has more fighting experience at this point in a weird way, only because he's just been on Earth longer, and his best friend is fucking Batman and Wonder
Right.
Woman. Like that's it. Like that's why
Yeah.
he'll win, but like I still don't trust it. She's
And the
raw
thing is,
power.
he's used to getting his ass beat by a girl because
Oh, yeah,
Diana's kicking his ass every
yeah,
other day.
yeah. And it's not because he's magic; it's because she's better than him, straight up.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Moving
right.
on with the roundup, you
Speaking
have
of the
here.
big three.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have here the big three. Is the narrative
Uh-huh.
more compelling when they work together or against each other? And why can't they just all kiss?
Yeah.
Wanted to highlight that. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are my two takeaways from this film. We see them, and they all have a common goal, but they're disagreeing on how to achieve that. And they're kind of working against each other in really weird ways. Up until we get to, kind of the third act of the film, where they have this bigger threat to take care of, right?
Mhm.
And I was thinking about it, and so often we see when the three of them are together, at least in my memory, there's usually either they're all working against each other in some weird way, or like two of them agree with somebody with something, and one of them doesn't like the plan or whatever, and they all, for the most part, usually seem to come together to like defeat the common evil or whatever. Um, but can you think of any like memorable or notable stories where it's all three of them united, agreed, like on the same page, and not just because they have to like conquer this big bad?
Yeah, no, it's I think it was post this series and kind of doing a little more and realizing a lot of fans in DC wanted to see them together. That outside of Justice League, outside of being that team of book, like just wanted to see them interact more. I think at first, it's funny watching this movie and not remembering too much of the series. I was like, why are they so antagonistic to each other? Obviously, they play up the buddy cop role between Batman and Superman, and it's kind of fun. But like Diana and the Amazonians straight up come in and beat the fuck off out of like they just beat the shit out of Clark to take Kara away, and it's like,
Kidnap her
yeah,
and then blame her for destroying the park. She wouldn't have lost control if you weren't trying to kidnap her.
yeah.
Excuse you.
What the fuck do you mean? And I
What
was trying to
do you
remember.
expect?
Yeah, I was like, why didn't Diana just call him? Like, why didn't she just call Clark? Like, I have concerns. Harbinger has concerns. Can we talk about
Yeah.
this? I know you're gonna be really protective, but like, yo, can she come over here? Let's train her. Who's better to
Right.
train her than me and my people? That's what we do. We fight. You don't get that. And I had her
Yeah.
think about it, and it took me a while, and I was like, wait, this is around the time where all the books were kind of they had this is when they DC started doing like big long retreats, and they started really teasing up what was going to come in the next, like they had plans for like the next 5 years, 6 years. All right, once we hit here, before that we'll do another retreat to what's going to be post this, all that things. They used to do it again back in the 90s, but not at this point with Jeff Johns work and Dan Dido work and Jeff Loeb, everyone on just shooting out all pistons and cylinders. They were in a very unique place where they had to build up the storyline where the Trinity is basically broken in a certain sense. We're not there
Mm.
yet, so this is what 2003, 2004, probably when these issues came out. Um, in 2005, Wonder Woman kills Maxwell Lord. Um,
Mm.
she
Mhm.
snaps his neck as a last minute result because she's fighting Superman, who's controlled by Maxwell Lord. They're looking for him because he killed Blue Beetle at this point. Ted
R.I.P.
Cord. Yeah, we're all leading up to this big event that is going to be Infinite Crisis, the first Crisis event since the 80s. Like, oh my god, this is a big deal for DC. Now it's like an everyday occurrence. Like, there's a fucking crisis every 2 months in DC Comics. But when it was rare around this time,
Mhm.
a lot of stories were slowly building up to this. So at first I was like really shocked. I'm like, why are they're not as on par as they would be, or that we know from the comics or the cartoons, pardon me. Now, because so many of the writers of the comics are fans of the cartoons and like to see them interact in this kind of like brother sisterly way, now those comics reflect, them being really close, having the same common goal, maybe some differences here and there, but like not too antagonistic to each other. But everything was in a weirdly dark place as we were leading up to Infinite Crisis at this point. And yeah, this is before Wonder Woman kills Maxwell Lord, which Batman and Superman give her shit for. It was like, dude, no offense to Diana, an unlocked Superman who has no moral compass is gonna kill Diana. Is gonna kill a
Yeah.
lot of Amazonians. So if Diana's only course, which she has no problem killing people, is to kill this
Yeah.
motherfucker. Yeah, she's gonna do it.
And we see her morality in this movie
Mm-hmm.
where she's comforting Clark. And like he made the right choice, right? Like he did what he had to do to save the
Yeah.
most lives. And sometimes that's taking out the bigger threat.
Yeah. Also, he should know this by now. It's Doomsday.
Right.
This is the motherfucker that killed you and killed so many people on the way to kill you specifically. So yeah, you see that motherfucker? Take him out. No questions asked. Don't think about his thoughts. Don't think about his feelings. Fucking kill him. That's it. You're not Bruce. All right. You can kill this one guy. It's okay. And Diana can kill
You're
whoever
not
she
a
wants because
fucking
she's a goddess.
psychopath like Bruce who knows that the minute he snaps once, there's no going back because he's
Yeah.
so fundamentally broken as a human being.
But yeah, that was funny thing when I was watching this, and I remembered back to the time of the comic books, and I was like, wow, yeah, why are they so antagonistic toward each other? And again, as I mentioned, like they were leading up to this Infinite Crisis event, and with the Omax and Batman using Brother Eye, he's spying on everyone, didn't tell anybody, like Superman's doing this, that, all, no one can trust him because of Kara and how he's playing her close to the vest because he's like, this is my family comes first. Um, I think it works. It's fun to watch, but I really like
Mhm.
when they work together. When you
Right.
see those
Like it's
Justice League.
entertaining, but
Mm-hmm.
also you want to see all your favorites work together and succeed and be this, you know, like dream team power fantasy, basically.
Yeah. It's
Um,
so weird when you see
yeah.
them so angry at each other for no reason. And like even Clark, like when he was it like 2 weeks later or something like that, and Kara's at this point settled on Paradise Island. She's like, "Nah, I'm cool
Oh,
here."
2 months.
Oh, 2 months. That's right. Yeah.
He leaves her for 2 months and then shows up and is like, "No, I could do this better than y'all. I'm taking her back." And she's like, "What the fuck about me? Like, don't I get a say?" And him and
No,
Dinah
both of
both
them.
going, "No, fuck y'all."
Fuck both of you. Like, what the fuck do you think you are? And it's funny too because while Kara is fighting Artemis, uh, during her training period, Clark says to Bruce, like in earshot of Diana, like not even he knows what he's doing. He goes, "She's really pissing me off," and I was like, "Who? Like this is not the Clark I know. This is not the Diana I'm like accustomed to at this point. It is jarring to
They're
see."
having petty grudges.
Yeah, it was like, man, no wonder you guys are all pissy when Diana does something that, again, if her back's against the wall, she should be able to do because she doesn't have a vow to not kill people like Batman, and she's a god
She's
of
a
war.
warrior,
Yeah, former god of
literally.
war. Why not?
Why not?
It's not her
I
first
do
choice.
reiterate. Right. I do reiterate my second point. Why can't they just all kiss?
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, that's the thing. I think Diana's like looking, like turns away, and then you just hear smooching. She turns back around, and just like Clark's like, "What? What happened? What's up? Were you
What?
guys making out?" No,
What?
no,
No,
not at all.
no, not happening.
Batman has to keep the mask on. His safe word is penny one.
You can't fucking say that, Jacob. Oh my god. It
Uh,
makes me terrible.
yeah, it is
Nothing
nice though
more
to see.
unsexy than thinking about your pseudo father figure.
True, true. Well, that's why it's the safe word. He's like, I went out. I'm done.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Just makes everyone uncomfortable.
Right.
Uh,
Oh, brilliant.
All right, in our final piece of the roundup, we're going to touch upon. This is interesting because I think that not that we have two different like ideas behind this, but I never thought of it like two and two. I'm so used to his voice, but why do they
Uh-huh.
keep casting men to play women? I.e., Mrs. Doubtfire, Hairspray, Medea, and now Granny Goodness. I'm so used to Ed
And
Asner
my thing
voicing
was,
her that I
yeah.
never think of like the implications of a male actor playing Granny Goodness.
And there's a lot of examples in the world of people playing roles outside their genders, and especially in like animated like voiceover roles like that, there's a lot more fluidity and flexibility there.
Yeah.
And I'm acknowledging that, and I respect that. And like again, it's acting. You are putting on this role, but there's this trend of casting a certain type of man to play a very specific type of woman that looks a very specific type of way. And what does that say about us as a culture and a community that we think that is acceptable and or comedic?
Yeah.
And so just like it was like the combination of having a very reminiscent design for this um Granny Goodness to various other instances we've seen of men playing women roles in the past that really got me thinking about it. And it was just something that like I don't know. I felt like I had to like mention when we were discussing this episode because it does make me uncomfortable every time it comes up, and
Yeah.
it's just this like it's a very specific type of caricature of how we as a culture view women in a way that's like if you think a little too hard about it is deeply uncomfortable, and it's not something I just kind of wanted to brush off and ignore when we were talking about this movie. Um but that's about it. That's all I really had to say about this. Is like it's something to like recognize and reckon with and really think about like what does it mean in the media you're consuming, and what does it say that's indicative of society and how we treat women in the real world.
Yeah, I would say that it seems just going, and this is behind the voiceactors.com. I've been using this for a bunch of animes just to randomly find out who the fuck voices these characters. They do have it by character. I will say it seems like the last time we had a male play Granny Goodness is Carrie Payton, which is he plays Cyborg in Teen Titans and Calder and Young Justice, aka Aquaman, and he's played her in the 2015 movie, which we'll cover, Gods and Monsters. But other than him and Ed Asner, we haven't had one since, so that is good. That is a good change of pace. Um, I don't. This is very like I know I'm not closed minded. I'm very. I would say I'm open minded, but very
Yeah, Carlos, you're the most close-minded person I've ever met.
exactly. But as a as a cis man, thinking and fairly straight, thinking, um, Granny Goodness is such a piece of shit character that I never, and like that's the whole point of Granny Goodness. Everyone from Apocalypse is
Yeah.
just a horrible person. Um,
Right.
that I never think of the implication of Ed Asner, who is an amazing voice actor and actor in general,
Does
playing
a
Granny
great job.
Goodness. Yeah, he does a great job and kind of, I don't want to say fits the role, but then when you look at like other people who played them, if it's, let's say, in here like in Justice League Action, which is a younger Justice League show for like younger children and stuff. Cloris Leachman plays Granny Goodness. That fits that character, right? Like the idea of like that voice with that character. The great Jessica Walter plays Granny Goodness and Harley Quinn. Like that makes sense. I was
Right.
very just so inspired, I guess, by Ed Asner playing Granny Goodness. It was like, oh wow, like he plays like these very deep, gravelly voices, and when you see Granny Goodness, she does have this otherworldly, just horrible, just vileness to her. That when you
Mhm.
hear, at least to me, my thought process was when you hear a man's voice come out of it, you're like, oh, and he doesn't hide, like he's not trying to doctor
Yeah.
it to make him sound more feminine. He just it's just Ed Asner just doing like he sounds like the dude from Up that he plays as well. It's like there's no difference between those characters. They're both grumpy.
He
They're
has
old.
one voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, or Santa and Elf. Uh, when you hear it, like almost fits, but then you see so many amazing actors take the role. Of Deborah Strang here played Granny Goodness or Gretchen Good in Young Justice. Did an amazing job at capturing the vileness that is, Granny Goodness. Never once did I think like, oh man, I kind of miss Ed Asner. Now I will say in my notes, I was like, oh shit, Ed Asner. I like Ed Asner. That is a note. There's my contradictory note.
Uh,
And I was like, oh shit, Ed Asner. I fucking yeah, he does a good job. But yeah, you never really think of it. There is this implication, and honestly, you saying that makes me think. I'm shocked and in a very glad way that no one's ever done this, but that no male actor has played Amanda Waller,
oh,
right?
yeah.
Because
Again,
Waller's
if
on that
it
level.
happened, I wouldn't be surprised because, like, when you're thinking about like these like vile female characters and like you can write a really compelling, evil, like horrible woman in
Hmm.
a really interesting way. But a lot of times the easy answers to what is the like most evil a woman can be, it's a man playing a woman is the answer. Like this
Yeah,
once you get to a certain level of masculinity, you are no longer viewed as having any sort of like characteristics of being a woman, and so the easy answer is to like slide a male actor into that role. And yeah,
yeah,
again, if Amanda Waller was played by a man, I would not be surprised, and that's the problem.
yeah, and that would have been the problem, right? And that would have, as fucked up as it would have been, it would have fit this, right? Like I would not have been surprised, like you said. Luckily, thank God, someone in casting was like, nah, nah. Always has to be a woman. Please God. Or and it has to be a woman of color. For God's sakes. Please God.
Please, fucking
Because again, like when you think of the character of Waller, not that we're, she's not in this movie and everything like that, but she
mhm.
was in the previous movie and she's part of the
She
storyline.
was. Yeah.
fucking irrehensible, like one of the biggest pieces of shit in
Yeah.
DC universe, on the level of Granny
Absolutely vile.
Goodness. Like Granny Goodness is a
Yeah.
horrible piece of shit as well in the whole universe standpoint, but so is Amanda Waller. A human is just as bad as this fucking new god. Like that's how bad Amanda is, and that makes her a very compelling fucking
Yeah.
character to watch
Exactly.
or root against, especially now she was like the big bad most recently in the storylines in DC Comics. But Granny Goodness, anytime she pops up, I'm like, this bitch is here again. God damn it. Shit's about to go down and it's gonna be sad. Some shit is gonna happen. But thank God we've never had that. And yeah, I never think about that too. When you have someone who has like, I'm thinking about Tyler Perry as Medea, who is
Mm.
very outspoken, angry, lady. Uh, and it's weird. It's all lining up. It's kind of crazy to think about. It's really crazy to think about. And he's played Granny Goodness quite a few times. I mean, like a bunch of episodes of
Mhm.
Justice League Unlimited in this
And
movie.
like you said, like Ed Asner does a great job in this role. And like, you know, I have a certain level of grace for actors accepting a role they're
Hmm.
cast as because like while in theory, yeah, you should understand the implications and know better, it's not your fault you were the one selected by the casting department. Like there's a
Yes.
certain level of
Yeah.
awareness that you have to have that's much higher if you are working in a role like casting than as an actor, right? Actors audition for every single thing they can get seen for. That's just how it goes. But the person selecting the people for this roles has to have a certain level of scrutinability towards who they are picking and what that means for the
Yeah.
role.
And this is not to
Um,
take anything from, Carrie Payton, who again is an incredible voice actor. But at worst, this should have been the last time a male played, you know, Granny
mhm,
Goodness, right? And this is, you could almost say, hey, again, I can't speak for them, but you see so many actors coming back from the animated series universe or, Justice League. So Ed coming back as this character, kind of fits. Of course, we don't have, not everyone's coming back. Andre Braugher is taking over the role of Darkseid in this movie specifically, and he does a great job. Summer
does a
Glau,
phenomenal
yeah.
job. I really enjoyed his
Hmm.
performance.
Summer Glau comes in as Kara. They didn't bring the Kara back from the animated series voice actor, but at best, this should have been the last time. you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I get the nostalgia aspect of it, and it feels nice to hear Tim Daly or George Newbern as Superman next to Kevin Conroy as Batman and Susan
Mhm.
Eisberg as Wonder Woman. But Carrie should have never been cast as Granny Goodness. We haven't watched that movie, and I'm sure this will pop up again when we see that film. But to then, what, 5 years later, we're talking about 5 years later post this movie. 9 years
Mhm.
ago, Carrie Payton was
Yeah.
playing Granny Goodness. Like that should have been done, and I don't think we're gonna see it again. I would hope not. God will. I mean, as Ed Asner's dead, rest in peace. But but that's I would hope that casting director wise, listen, get someone who can do something like Ursula, right? Ursula is on that level of Granny Goodness, right? She's
Yeah.
nicer. She's
Absolutely.
nicer than Granny Goodness is, but
Yeah. Too.
she'll steal
Yeah.
your
There's.
heart and your husband, but like she's not this bad, This is bad, bad, you know. But something like that, like when you see like character models kind of match up, right, with Ursula's
Mhm.
look and Granny Goodness's look, they're both evil. They love being evil, that kind of deal. If you're going old school, Little Mermaid,
Mhm.
so why not something like that? It's funny to think like we're okay with a woman playing that kind of vile character, and Disney got it on lock, but like DC's over here like yeah, the fucking Ed Asner's here, man. Yeah, I don't know. He was like filming Elf across the street. Let's just get him. Fucking, I don't care. Let's just do it. Like no, no offense to Ed. Like great voice acting, but like there's so many people. There's so many actors out there.
Did you have any other thoughts about this movie?
Sucks. About the movie in general, yeah, I have a few things. I think it was the fights. God damn, I feel like I bring this up every week. The fights are so visceral, man. Like, um, God, the whole Doomsday, the army of Doomsdays fighting like on Paradise Island. Also, that was shocking. Can we talk about that? The fact that there's men on Paradise Island. I was like, wait, what the fuck? Oh, I forgot. Hippolyta is not around right now. Diana's in charge. That's right. This makes sense. Sorry, I remember now. It's like you almost have to like because they're
Yeah.
adapting almost one for
You have
one
to
that comic
think
book
about it.
series. Yeah, you have to sit and be like,
Right.
wait, where are we canon
Where are
wise?
we in the universe? Yeah.
Where is Hippolyta right now? Okay, she's not back yet. She's not part of the Justice League with Dick Grayson as Batman. Okay, hold on. Yeah, we're not there
Mhm.
yet. All right.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah, it
those
is.
fight scenes, especially like the training spar with Artemis and Kara was gorgeous, and
Yeah.
like the way it told such a strong story in the fight itself was really well done. Except for, Clark having to be the heroic man saving the day. Uh,
Yes.
and then we get through and like I'm gonna be honest, I spaced out for a majority of the fight scenes, but the sound mixing up for them was pretty cool.
Dude, I love
But like,
love Kara and Superman fighting on Apocalypse.
yeah, yeah, like it was really good, and it really makes me want to sit down with this movie again, like almost immediately, just to really dive in and like focus and have that energy to really hone in on the fight scenes because when I was watching, they were phenomenal. It was really
Yeah.
great like physical storytelling with the fights that they were designing. And that's something that like I think DC specifically in this era of animated movies does so incredibly well. They really nailed down how to like animate a really compelling large fight sequence.
Hmm.
And we'll see it for years to come, and like this is like what makes the DC animated movie canon so special.
Yeah. Yeah. And I did want to bring up a few things again. We talked about Andre Brower, his role incredible. He doesn't do anything crazy to make his voice sound like gravelly or anything. He's just so perfectly theatrically bad. You know, he's
Yeah.
such a theatrically bad villain. Like it's so he eats it up. He eats every scene up so much so, and it's so much so that you forget that Darkseid wears like a skirt. You know, as his costume. Like again,
It's
no
a
shame in the game.
battle kilt.
But yeah, it's like a battle kilt, but like it's like a shitty battle kilt. Like I've seen
It
better
is.
ones. You know, he feels very confident, and no one on Apocalypse is going to tell him he looks wrong. You know, that's the thing. They're afraid.
As he
Uh,
should.
but there were a couple things that when you think about, you know, in context wise, they're very subtle. But like when the Amazonians are kidnapping Kara, they jump Superman. Like they don't wait. They were like, "Hey, we're here." They just it's like five people just they see him and they were like, "We can't wait. We got to get the jump on him or he's going to stop us." And thank God for Diana as well because they it's like 6-on-1 at one point. He's getting his ass open. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" He's like shocked. He's like, "What the hell is going? Why are y'all hitting me? Stop it!" Like, he's
Like,
so
why are you
annoyed.
trying to fucking kidnap my cousin? Like, chill.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck, man. Um, I did have a note here. Two things that I said. I love how the second Dark is mentioned, or his Dark Side has something to do with whatever's going on. Superman's like it's on site. He was like, all right, I'm going to Apocalypse. We're gonna whoop his
Immediately.
ass.
Yep.
Yeah, like you're like it takes a
Hmm.
while to get
Hmm.
there. Fuck it, I'll figure it out. I don't care. I'm gonna whoop his ass. Like anytime. Like he hates Lex. He hates him with a passion, but he sees him. He's like, whatever, man. Just walk by. I don't give a fuck. He sees Darkseid. He's like, it's on site. He's throwing fists. It does not matter if Darkseid needs help. It does not matter if Darkseid's going to save the universe. He's going to whoop his ass the second he gets a chance. And then on the flip side, it's the same for Darkseid. The fact that Darkseid, if you think about it too much, just sitting on the Kent farm. He waited till Ma and Pa left to grab groceries. I think he made himself like
Well,
a
how
nice
did he find
tea.
it?
Yeah. Yeah, how do you find it? Yeah. Yeah, is
Who
there
knows?
any like Kryptonian energy like before or something like that? Because he's inside the house, so he broke into the
Mhm.
house at some point, but like chilled, maybe made tea, maybe like ate something, like had like a little snack, and
Had
just
a
wait.
little
He's
sassy
waiting at the
stare.
door for the moment the Clark to open the door. So he's like, now it looks fun. And then he jumps him. And it's like, how long have you been waiting there?
Right.
Because like they would know if a boom tube randomly opened up. Like that causes a little
Mhm.
damage and it's loud as fuck. So you must have boom tubed away from the farm, waited. And he was like, I'm not gonna fuck with his family. I'll beat his ass. I'm not gonna fuck with his family. Go over to the house, break
Fucks
in,
with mop.
and he's like, I wonder what door he's gonna come in. Probably the front door. I'm gonna wait right here. Hopefully he doesn't come through the kitchen. This will be very embarrassing for me. Like he had a whole plan. What the fuck? Um
Dramatic ass motherfucker.
yeah. What was another thing I had here? One of the Fatal Furies tries to outwhip Wonder Woman. Big mistake. She's like the master
Yeah.
of the whip. What the fuck is wrong with you? They call Big Barda a bitch at one point. I was like, that feels like such an Earth thing to say. Like, is like bitch just universal? Like, is that a universal
I mean,
term?
apparently. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
People are disparaging to women everywhere.
Yeah, and it's always their own kind, man. These women, like you're such a bitch. It's like, when did we become soap opera territory? What happened? I did have a note here. I have to address here. I don't know if
Mhm.
she'll be listening or watching, and I'll play it at work probably. I put respectfully, Barda, step on me. To which my
Period.
coworker Brianna looked at my screen and said, "Carlos, the fuck is wrong with you?" She's like, "What is wrong with you? Like, come on!" And then we all
Nothing.
laughed.
Have you seen her?
Yeah, exactly. And then she called me out because I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3. And anyone who has,
Mm.
she's like, I know you're going to romance Karlach. Now, again, I have not played the game. I understand who
Me
this
neither.
Karlach woman is.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. I'm willing to burn whatever part of my body. I get it. Lady Demetrescu, I get it. Okay? I understand. There is nothing wrong. But yeah, I had to highlight that one. And uh, there's one thing else I guess we could talk about. We did make mention of the costume and how it does have a practicality about it, but like, what do you prefer? The the miniskirt that we get here, the traditional like what Kara kind of has in the beginning of the Supergirl show, or what she gets at the end with like the pants.
I love the pants.
I do too.
If I was going to FMK the three outfits, I don't know why I didn't say fuck, marry, kill. It's not like we don't
This
say the
podcast, yeah,
fuck word on this show.
you're right.
No.
I just said
If I was gonna
I
fuck,
want Big
marry,
Martin
kill
to
though,
step on
yeah.
me respectfully. So
I would marry the pants. I would fuck this outfit with the very high, like, upside down V on the bottom. That was the choice. I
yeah,
thought that was fun. And I guess I'm killing the um OG outfit.
okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Not
because
that it's anything bad. It's just like it's kind of generic. It's the one we
it
got,
is
right?
very plain Jane-ish. It's like, here's her dress. Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Yeah.
for example, I have an apron I bought Tara that is Supergirl. It's basically that costume. And it's basically when she puts it on, it's like, yeah, that costume does kind of look like an apron. When you think about it, it's like it's very 50s, it does give very 50s vibe. Pants seem to be like the most controversial thing to put on women in in comic books for some reason. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with men out there. Why can't you understand that it's okay to put, pants on a woman? But Wonder Woman had a redesigned costume. I forget what year it was, but that was legit one of the most controversial things that happened in comic books at that time, because she got that, a leather jacket, and it was like, oh my god, you ruined her costume. It's like, what? It's pants. Let her wear pants. It's okay.
Except for the New 52 where she had the like star like leggings or whatever.
I think that was one of them. At one point, she did have that for
Mhm.
a little bit, but before, it was like before the New 52, she got like pants,
Mm.
and it was like darker color scheme, and I was like, "Oh my god, what is wrong with you?" I'm like, "It's fine, just
Oh,
it's
dang.
pants."
Right. No, I love pants. I think they look good.
Oh yeah, here we go. It
Um,
was issue 600. God, when was that? All new Wonder Woman issue 600. I can't. 2010. Oh, so the year this fucking
alright.
movie came out. Yeah, this came out and she had pants, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, what is wrong with you?" I mean, I do enjoy like the battle skirt. Like I do enjoy that one. I think that's really cool. Uh, but something about pants. Apparently, you just piss off the men folk. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Of course.
But yeah, I prefer. I think the pants costume on Kara as well. Like when I saw that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Why?
That one, it
Why?
just
Why did
looks
we do?
so good on her.
It does too. Like yeah. Like is that what weird dudes are doing? Like, are they afraid that they're not sexy anymore if they're not wearing like their butt cheeks out? Like,
Oh no, I can't see your legs. You're no longer conventionally attractive. All right. Whatever you say, dudes. I just have a couple final notes. We
yeah,
cannot go this entire episode without addressing Crypto the dog.
yeah. That was on site for him too.
Fucking
Jesus Christ.
adorable. Yeah, I don't know what his gripe with Kara is, but it was kind of hilarious. He was like, "I am the only."
I am the favorite son.
Yeah. Oh, I had another one. Oh, hey, Bruce. Fuck you, world's greatest detective, and you won't even learn to speak Kryptonian for your husband.
Yeah, I know that's kind of fucked up.
What? Speak English. Fuck you. Speak Kryptonian. How about that?
Well, it's like, why don't you go back to your country? My planet's dead, sir. Why don't you go back to your parents?
Why don't you go back to your parents, Bruce? Huh?
Yeah. How did you think about that?
Ever thought about that? Da, da, da. Oh, and we would be remiss if we did not talk about that end fight scene where they're all like beat up and their costumes are all torn and shit. And Clark looks hot as shit. Like you can see like the full bicep super
Yep.
defined with the fabric hanging off. And I was like, damn,
I get it.
damn, dude, that's a good look for you.
I
Yeah, I
get
was
it.
like, I see it. Yeah. And I also love at the very end, Kara has the entirety of Themyscira backing her up, going to bat for her. Like they're on her team, and I love that. That's adorable. We love
Yeah.
solidarity. I love when women.
Women love women. That's it, man. That's the perfect thing. It was beautiful to see. Um, yeah, I forgot about the torn suit, which is funny because canonically now in the DC universe, at least according to John Kent's Superman series, Lois has kept Clark's slave outfit in her closet, which is like a loincloth basically and like chains around his chest. I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Oh,
all right,
kinky.
yeah, good for you, Lois. Good for you. All right. So that is that. Let's move on to drama class. My favorite part of the episode where we hold over for MC University. Sly, you want to be Batman or do you want to be Superman on this first one?
Um, I want to be Batman on this one, and then you can be Batman on the next one.
Sounds good. All right. Yeah, the next one's good too. Yeah, damn. This vessel carries my daughter, Kara Zor-El, from the now dead planet Krypton. Treat her as you would your own child. She will prove a treasure for your world.
Treasure? You're sure of the translation?
It says treasure, not terror, not trouble. Always a cynic. You can't help yourself, can you?
Know those tests I was running? Her cellular structure is a shade more dense than yours. She metabolizes sunlight more efficiently. It could be her youth, it could be something else. Bottom line, she might be more powerful than you. It makes me wonder. So does her sudden appearance.
Listen, I
Her
hold by the
cellular
stand.
structure is a shade more dense.
More dense,
That's a
yeah.
scientific sentence.
Also, I don't know why this feels like such a shot at Superman. She metabolizes sunlight more efficiently.
Damn.
Like,
All
all
right.
right, man. Like, listen, I hold by the standard that women are smarter than men in every sense of the matter, in way, shape, or form. Because there are times I have done stuff and I'm like, that was smart to do. And then Tara or Brianna at work or Cassie at work will look at me like, you are a fucking idiot. I'm like, yep, yes, I am.
Yep.
Just a big old dumb golden retriever in the corner. Yep, that's what I am.
I love embracing dumb idiot energy. It's my
Yeah.
favorite place to be.
100%. 100%. All right, next one. Does any of this fill your memory lapses?
I know that's my uncle, Jor-El, and my aunt Laura.
Because Superman, Kal-El told you?
No. Because I remember. Uncle Jor-El was like my father. They both believed the planet was doomed, which is why my father also built a ship. He told me the navigation system was locked onto Earth and that he and my mother would soon follow. I was just about out of sight when I saw them die, right before my eyes. And then there was that light, that awful, blistering light. Then all I remember is darkness. The rest you told me, how the asteroid carried me across the galaxy until it broke apart, and I landed here.
Do you remember your mother's name?
You know I don't. Why don't you trust me?
Kal-El has enemies who would go to great lengths to destroy him.
Think I would hurt my own cousin?
Perhaps not intentionally.
I sensed your presence earlier because I thought I heard your heartbeat. I was wrong. You have no heart.
Damn.
Damn. Damn, girl. You tell him.
Also, Bruce, you saw your parents die in front of your fucking eyes. Have some goddamn respect. Just one iota of
You
respect.
also have familial trauma.
Yeah, you saw.
Damn it.
You always talk about the blistering light of the fucking gun going off in front of your face. Jesus. Wait till Kara finds out. She's gonna be even more angry when she finds out. Like, yeah, so well, his name's Bruce Wayne. I read on the internet thing that you guys have that his parents died in front of him. Okay, next time I'm gonna talk to him.
Also, she was trapped in space for how many thousands of years before
Yeah.
she arrived here?
Yeah,
And you're shocked that she can't remember things?
yeah.
Literally, that's
Stuck in a kryptonite like fucking enclosure, basically too. Like, yeah, no shit. She's all fucked up. Like Clark got away from the explosion. She was literally launched as the explosion was happening around her. Fucking CTE, man. She's got fucking Kryptonian CTE. Jesus.
damn. All right. You want to be Kara for the next one?
Yeah, and then it will switch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna like it here.
It can be a little quiet.
Cal, I've been chased, shot at, kidnapped, beaten, and had my mind controlled, and I broke a nail. I'm ready for a little quiet.
If I know my mother, she'll have some of her famous apple pie waiting. You okay?
A little nervous, I guess. It's just you have this life. You can be Clark or Kal-El or Superman, even a son. Who am I gonna be?
I can't answer that, Kara. Only you can. Whatever you decide, I'll be there for you. I promise.
Beautiful. And then he gets immediately punched in the fucking face.
You. Right.
Immediately.
Immediately beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. At his home. God damn, Darkseid is a ruthless motherfucker. God damn. He's a hate. He just hates. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next. Mom, Dad, This is Kara, my cousin, your niece.
Mr. Kent, Mrs. Kent, it's so nice to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you both.
Don't worry, I can build a new one.
I can help. I'm great with a hammer. I can pound. I'm a good pounder.
Love
Yeah,
it.
you are.
Yeah.
Beat the shit out of those nails.
And Dark Side. Jesus Christ. All right. Wrapping up the episode, we're going to quiz time. I have 2 questions here. And then we can expand about them for a little bit. First question: how many origins does Kara have in DC Comics history? Not including Power Girl. We won't include Power Girl.
3?
Yes.
Ha.
Yeah. 100%. So, yes, we have the original Kara Zor-El. It was introduced like in the 50s or 60s, something like that. Same thing came on the Rocket, our old like new, hey, I'm your cousin, all this stuff. There was a weird thing where he thought she was pretty, but that was the 50s, and comics were really and we retconned that out. And then she passed away in a very famous scene in the 80s. Speaking of Harbinger, who passed away in this movie, Harbinger was part of that big storyline. Well, Crisis on Infinite Earths. She's one of the most famous deaths in that, other than Barry Allen. But Kara dies, and then the universe is rebooted. There's no Supergirl in this timeline until around, I think, 91, 92, right before the death of Superman. A new Supergirl shows up, but she is this, what is it described as? She's like a protoplasmic being from another dimension. So she basically looks like a Slim Jim, and she molds her body to look like Supergirl, but then she fuses with an angel of like, as in like the Judeo-Christian God angel, and like they fuse to make this.
So like many eyes.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, the many, not biblically accurate, not biblically accurate.
Okay.
But like, what we see, a white person with wings. Uh, they fuse, and she's got wings, and then that's all weird, and then she dies because they knew they were gonna bring this Kara back to real life. So she was like, I was never really the real Kara, and like everyone knows that, but like they still sad about it. Also, I think she had a sexual thing with Lex Luthor at this time. Really weird. Um so yeah, there's a lot there, but that's how convoluted 90s comic books were. And then finally, 2003, she gets reintroduced. This is, I guess, no, yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'll count this as 3 though. There's technically 4 because they do this, but they change ever so slightly some things in the New 52. She, comes crashing in. Everything we talked about in this movie is what is canon for a couple years before the New 52 just reboots everything. So I'm not gonna count it because they basically reboot this. It's almost the same story. She's just a little more aggressive. And again, they changed the fact that she was supposed to be a protector of Clark. She was supposed to take care of him, raise him, kind of show him the ropes, and then they're supposed to like take care of Earth together and kind of be refugees together on Earth. And then, of course, she just misses the boat, literally by like timeline wise, misses it and comes back. And Clark is already established as the world's first superhero in this timeline. Post at least New 52, he's Superman. He's already been with the Justice League. He's fought a Dark Side, all this other shit's happened, and she's like, hey, I'm here as well. And there's a lot of her storylines around New 52 are kind of rough until more recently. Like I said, Supergirl Tomorrow.
The thing with New 52 is like it was kind of when I was like the most active and big in and around DC as like comics property. And there are some reboots that are like incredible and wonderful, and you're like, okay, this is canon now. And there's something that was like that was the choice you made.
Yep.
It wasn't a good choice, but you did something bold, I guess. Good for you. Question mark?
Yeah, why? Okay, maybe. Like Red Hood and the Outlaws. Great thing you did in the New 52. Supergirl just constantly having a lot of issues and everything's just weird and like they don't know how to write her correctly. Thank God for the TV show because I think that helped everyone be like,
For the new 52 is the choice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank God for, I guess what they call it, DC Rebirth, where we're currently standing in now. Again, had
Mhm.
finding her place in the universe, literally goes out of her way to be like, I don't know where I stand on Earth. I'm just gonna be drinking. Where's this bar that has the strongest liquor? I'm gonna start drinking, and just be like a mercenary for hire in space. And it's kind of fun. And then she comes back in the fold now, is back on Earth, kind of hanging out with her. I guess I don't want to say sister, but the other Kara, who was Power Girl. They kind of are best friends, which is nice. And
Mhm.
again, that's not even counting that Kara Zor-El from Earth 2, a Power Girl,
Yeah.
and her fucking
I was
convoluted
gonna say
origin.
like 3 to 5 ish. Something around there.
Yeah, they keep swinging and missing on Kara, unfortunately, comic book wise. And then finally, I thought this was interesting because when we meet Kara in this movie, she's unfortunately nude. Um,
Uh-huh.
so my question to you is, how many times has a character that Summer Glau played been introduced nude for some reason?
Too many
Honestly, too many.
is the answer.
For her, why? I'm sure she's fine with it, I guess, because she keeps doing the roles, but why? Why is it always her?
I'm sure she's okay with getting a paycheck and doesn't feel like she can
Fair.
say no.
With Joss Whedon doing one of them, yeah, sure.
Um, yeah. I I would again, my instinct saying at least 3.
Yep. Yep, it is 3. So we have Summer Glau's very first like big acting role as River Tam in Firefly. She's introduced as she's opened a cart in the very first episode or first part of Serenity, the pilot episode, and she is naked for some reason, even though I'm pretty sure her brother packed her away. So that's kind of weird. Like, why? It's okay. I think it'd be okay if her clothes were frozen with her, but who knows? I don't know space stuff, and they never explain it. Uh, Also, now that I hate Joss Whedon as a man,
Mhm.
and I can admit this, uh, that is very shot for shot in anime, which I love as well, called Outlaw Star, where they introduce somebody who's very important to the ship, and she's like kind of a weird psychic kind of thing. Uh, she's butt ass naked when they open the container, and she's in the same position. And I'm not. People have brought this up online, and I've been like, hey.
Mhm.
It's just live action Outlaw Star. I love that anime. I love the show. I'll name one of my
Mhm.
kids after the characters. But listen, still on the plus side, fuck Joss
Listen,
Whedon.
a little bit of a ripoff. Yeah.
Just a little bit. Secondly,
You're gonna
would be
be
this
weird. At least be original about it.
exactly Joss Whedon. God damn it. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Secondly, is this movie. Luckily, it's only vocally she's a part of this movie, but Kara is naked and introduced there. And then thirdly, this one actually is the only one that I will give credit to. She's in Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, a very underrated and cult classic TV show that was on Fox. Um, and it was it's actually a really good show. It's a really good Terminator part of the mythos. This is obviously not canon. And
Mhm.
she plays a Terminator, and because of the rules of time travel, only organic matter can go back in time. So it doesn't matter if she had clothes on, it will burn away as she's time traveling. So this is the only one that she gets a pass for being naked and because Terminator lore dictates male female does not matter. If you travel through
Mhm.
time, you're gonna be butt ass
You
naked when you come
showing
back.
up butt ass naked. Yep.
Exactly.
We love
Exactly.
equality in this household.
Yeah, equal asses for everybody, okay? If I had to see Arnold Schwarzenegger, I get to see Linda Hamilton, I get to see,
Yeah.
an adult Summer Glau. Sure. I'm down. Listen, equal asses for equal people. Uh
Uh-huh.
but yeah, so 3. Which is it's that meme. It's like if I had a nickel for every time this happened, I've had 3 nickels. That's kind of like a lot of nickels for
Mhm.
this situation. Um but yeah, that's quiz time, and you got all of them right, so 100% to you. Kudos.
Look at me go.
Yeah.
Pulling these answers out of my ass. Educated guesses. That's what we're calling them.
Exactly. That's what we're doing. But yeah, let's go home with this. We're going home. Final thoughts, Sly. What are your thoughts on 2010's Superman Batman Apocalypse?
This is brilliant. Again, I was fully convinced that I had seen this movie before. It's just like so within this time period and
Mm-hmm.
this universe that like I was fully convinced that I had completely seen this entire thing front to back. And I hadn't. So, that's on me. But I'm really excited to revisit this again in the very near future, where I do have the bandwidth to appreciate the phenomenal fight sequences that we get in this movie. And yeah, I fully enjoyed this movie. We love getting to see the Trinity together, even if they're fighting with each other like for 60% of this movie. It's
They're
fine. Oh,
so
I just
bitchy
kicked
toward
my
each
water
other.
bottle. They're so bitchy. Car's great. I love what we get to see of the mascara. That was really cool. Yeah, I mean Darkseid was interesting and really well performed. I don't think I have any negative. Well, okay, I guess my negatives are um don't cast men to immediately vilify
Yes.
female characters, and don't make women be naked um just because you want to, I guess. Those are my two negatives.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it feels weird when it's two times, and
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason behind.
I just like a teenager. That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. That is weird. And I think that I didn't bring that up in my thoughts, but I did. That was like one of my first early notes was was here. I was oh yeah, nah, man. This is Gotham. I see a naked woman. I'm immediately frightened because you don't know what the fuck's going on. And, like that means something. Like she could be
What's going on?
Jokerized, anything. Who the fuck knows, man? She could be Killer
Yeah.
Croc in the outfits for some reason. Who knows? I don't know. It's just scary. Like the one dude that gives her his coat. I think is the only dude who's like, I'm here to clock in, clock out, and go to fuck home. I don't give a fuck anything. Guys, you gotta stop messing with this girl. Obviously, she whooped all your asses, ma'am. Here's my coat.
The one black guy has common sense in this
Yeah, exactly.
situation. Good for him.
He's trying to get as much money to get the fuck out of Gotham, like
Like,
everyone
I'm
else
just
should.
trying to survive, y'all.
What the fuck is wrong with y'all? I'm gonna tell the foreman. But yeah, it's weird that like two times she's just straight up naked as characters, and I was like, why? The third one's the only one that makes sense, and even then, someone could be like, "Hey, man, why do you time travel naked?" Like, shut up, it's science. I don't care. I make the rules. Shut up. You got to see Michael Bean naked, didn't you? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. I
Yeah.
love this movie. Really good adaptation. Really did a good job of not necessarily do one for one of the art style, but paying homage to the late great Michael Turner and his style of art. He was one of my favorites, especially when I got back into comics around this time. I was like collecting anything that he was drawing at that time. Um, so it was really cool to see that and the homage to his art in this. Storyline wise, I think it works really well. This is another one that's just adapted from a few issues and they just completely nailed it. It's almost like at this time it's like, ooh, DC's finding their stride. Like, let's see, are they gonna keep doing one-offs? It's like,
Uh,
maybe. Maybe. But for that answer, we're gonna find out next week when we cover the 2013 Superman Unbound, which again is another adaptation of a seminal Superman storyline that happened around the aughts. And this time we're going to have
Very
a guest.
special.
Yeah.
Yeah, second guest of the pod. Very exciting.
I'm very
We
excited.
should have a couple more guests coming up in the next few episodes. It should be a really fun time. I'm really excited to. Obviously, I love talking about these movies with you, and we have a great time every week. But it's always fun to get a fresh perspective in.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll have some fun chatting with a mystery person who you'll find out who it is next week.
Exactly. And another fun fact that I just found out recently. Now, again, as of recording, this is true. I can't speak to when this post. Superman Unbound is on Max. is
Really?
actually on Max. I was like, yeah, you know what?
That's like
IMDb's
the
been doing a pretty
second
good job of telling me where they're
episode.
at. And that's why
Yeah.
if you saw me pull my phone out a minute ago, I was like, I need to verify in real time if it's actually, and I just checked, it is on Max. I just saw 2013 Superman Unbound starring Matt Bomer is on Max. So we got one. This is like this third episode that we've gotten that's actually on Max.
It's at least the second for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, technically movie
'Cause
wise, the other one was 3 episodes.
yeah. Mhm.
So everyone, that is your
Yeah,
homework for next
finally.
week. If you have Max, actually watch it. If not, sail the high seas like many of us have done for the past 2 seasons of this show.
If
Because
you don't have a Max subscription password floating around somewhere, good for you. Proud of you.
yeah,
Don't buy into the capitalism.
no, just use your friends. Thanks, Joey. Watch so much Doctor Who and Penguin because of you. Thanks, buddy.
Mhm. Oh man,
All right.
I need to sit down and watch Penguin soon. It's
Yeah, I gotta watch
happening. I
Penguin.
promise.
It's good. It's damn good. Yeah. But until next time, class is dismissed. Oh, actually, I did
Oh,
forget. I wanted to do one little thing because I was looking
okay.
at the time frame when this post, right?
Uh huh.
This should post, I think, the day after, if I'm correct, the Indie Game Awards. And we haven't really got a piece of media where we can talk about it real quick.
Yeah.
So if you saw that, that was yesterday. I'm going to do it in real time. That was
Uh-huh.
yesterday's thing.
Right.
I don't know why I'm frozen video wise.
I
I
don't know
can,
why you're
I can
frozen
hear you.
either.
You can hear me, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right,
You're
perfect.
still good.
That's all that matters. Uh,
Um.
my camera will come back in 2 seconds. But at least video wise, not video wise, Jesus Christ. um, God damn it. Content wise,
Timeline wise, yeah.
timeline wise,
Content
yes.
wise,
This is appearing
yesterday.
after the Indie Game Awards, which we were very
Mhm.
lucky enough to be judges in the inaugural, uh, you know, Indie Game Awards as Point in Progress. So that was very cool, very awesome thing that we got to do. Congratulations to the winners. We don't know who they are, but congratulations to you guys. Um, there
Our
were a
votes are
couple of
in.
debates.
They have
Yeah,
been cast, and we're so thrilled. And like the whole time we were going through the nominations to cast our votes to pick our official PIP selections to submit, I spent the entire time being like, indie games are good, y'all. There were some real hard choices in there.
there are
There were
some
some
really
real
good
close
ones.
rankings. And I'm just so excited to be a part of this incredible presentation and awards. I'm so excited for it to happen for many years to come. We're so honored to be involved in the first inaugural Indie Gamer World Awards, and they just deserve the world and so much recognition. So if you haven't watched it yet, go to our YouTube channel, go to I think it's on IGN.
Yeah,
Go find it wherever you can find it, and watch and support. All our love to them, and go play some indie games.
hell yeah. Play some indie games, watch some good Superman media. Just be good people. I'll end it like that with Dead Meats. Be good people.
There you go.